Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexForNoobs.com with the... Ooh, that was weird. I was talking, but it hadn't really started yet, I think. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'll start over. Hey guys, this is Nick from ForexForNoobs.com with a daily analysis. In today's analysis, we're going to be looking for price action setups across all these pairs to the right here. I'm all out of order. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of June, 2020. Time is 10:01 a.m. here in the UK. So yeah, we're going to be looking for price action setups across all these pairs. We're finally starting to see some decent movement. It's been a few days or a few weeks of pretty boring movement, but things have really started to take off in terms of I would say volatility. It's really gone up the past since yesterday. So it looks like this week's shaping up to be a halfway decent week, unlike the last few weeks, because the last few weeks have just been completely slow. And it's a pretty big change from what we had in March. So it's been a bit disappointing the last few weeks. But yeah, we're getting that kind of movement again. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is going to last. But it seems like for the next several months, we might have to be prepared to switch back and forth between trading styles to adapt to these kind of changing conditions. So when I say changing conditions, I mean going from completely ranging markets that barely move to this style of market that's moving like crazy. Now, I'm not saying that we've again returned to this style of market, but because it's way too early to say, but it does look like we're seeing a big uptick in volatility or momentum volume, and that could mean that we're back to this kind of thing. So we'll just wait and see, make sure that that's the case. But that being said, this kind of movement is good, and it means that we can look to trade some breakouts again on the smaller time frames, which I'll be doing this week if the momentum continues. Now, it's not across all pairs, but it is across a lot of pairs. So even like New Zealand USD, for example, it hasn't moved much today, but yesterday we got quite a big candle. But that big candle wasn't really out of the norm compared to the last week or so with this pair. So it's not like everything is moving like crazy, but we are seeing some more momentum than we have in the last few weeks, which is kind of interesting. So that means on AUD, I'll be looking for some breakout trades. Hopefully this kind of thing continues, and hopefully it picks up on all the other pairs. Right now we're seeing some major USD weakness. I released a tool yesterday for members only. Now, technically speaking, non-members might still be able to access this by the time the webinar is out, but I will put a stop to that. I'm just trying to bring the tool up, but I'm failing. Here we go. Let's do it like this, because I've messed everything up here. Grab this, drag it into there, and there we go. Yeah, so I created this tool for you guys because I've been learning more and more about coding, so I thought I'd put my skills to use in something that's practical and useful for you guys and for me also, because a lot of this is stuff that I would normally do in an Excel spreadsheet, or that I would do just by like looking at the candles and drawing on them. So something like this, for example, if I wanted to figure out the average daily range of the last 3 days, or basically just how much price has moved in the last 3 days, let's say I would just drag from, I don't know what's up with my browser. It's acting really weird. It's really slow. I would drag from here to here and it would tell me 229 pips is the range of the last 3 days. And then I would use that to figure something out, like perhaps the size of my stop loss. But this does it all for you. So it just gives you an entry, target, stop. Now the entry basically means how much beyond the break of the indecision candle's high or low you should place your entry. Now this is for using wider entries. It's pretty, there's going to be more pairs added, by the way. I know there's some weird pairs here like CHF JPY. There's going to be more pairs. But so just back to the explanation. The entry basically tells you how much in pips you should place your entry above the high or low of the indecision candle or whatever candle you're using to enter. The target is basically the maximum safe target based on recent price action. And you can put your target beyond that. There's nothing really wrong with that. It's just this is kind of the maximum safe target. And the stop loss is the minimum stop that you should have. So the minimum stop loss that you should have if you want to play it safe, but you should definitely extend beyond that. Now this is of course lagging, like all these things are. So, you know, when you have big changes in the way price is moving, for example, with AUDUSD, we have a big change in how that's moving. This is going to lag a little bit behind, but that's just the reality of this kind of stuff. I might be able to try to make it a bit more up to date somehow. The other thing is the currency strength indicator or index, whatever you want to call it. I just thought I'd make this really simple with a ranked sort of system. So this is just currency strength by rank. So AUDJPY and AUD and JPY are complete opposite ends of the strength strength ranking. So AUD is strongest, JPY is weakest. So basically what that tells you is what looking at your chart could tell you that AUDJPY is trending up. But the good thing about that is it gives you a pretty decent idea of what direction you should be trading. So this just kind of simplifies everything. There's going to be a lot more tools added to this with time. There's going to be a pretty awesome Forex calendar added if I can figure out all the code for that, which is a lot more complex than it sounds. So I'll be adding a calendar which is going to be better than pretty much any Forex calendar out there if I can make it work the way I want it to work. But my point with showing you guys this is it's accessible for members right now. I'll be adding it to the members menu and I'll be locking it off to non-members because they can all see the URL now and they can access it at the moment. So that should be done by the time this webinar is released publicly. The point I wanted to show you with this is that now we have a pretty decent currency strength index, and this is going to be really useful for our trading because it just gives you a quick reference as to what the strongest versus the weakest currencies are. So right now we can see that USD is almost the weakest aside from JPY, which is slightly weaker. So that's pretty handy to know. That tells us that if we're looking for trades, we want to stay in the direction of trading against the US dollar for now. If we're looking for continuation trades, so continuation trades are basically continuations of the trend. If we're looking for continuation trades today, we want to try and stay in direction of the trend. Another cool feature I added is switching to smaller time frames. So you just press this button and that switches to smaller time frames. So on smaller time frames, CAD is actually stronger than AUD, and USD is not as weak as it looks, but that's just over the shorter periods. So for example, you might want to go long on EURCAD on the smaller time frames. Do I even have EURCAD here? I don't think so. So if we were to drop down to maybe the 30-minute, and you were looking for continuation trades here, it's starting to pick up to the long side. Wait, am I doing that wrong? CAD's the strongest, Euro's the weakest. Yeah, no, I'm mixing those up, I think. Whatever. Obviously I need to get more pairs into this thing because it's kind of confusing me right now with CAD being the strongest and Euro being the weakest, which would mean that EURCAD needs to, yeah, my brain's just was struggling with that one for a little bit. So yeah, don't worry about that. Also, this tool kind of tells you things that are moving quite nicely in and the direction they're moving. That way you can plan to trade in that direction if the setup forms. So this doesn't tell you just like jump into a trade on AUDJPY and go long. That's not how it works. What it tells you, what it suggests to you is if you see a setup that is suggesting to go long on CAD-JPY, that's great because that's the direction based on currency strength that things are moving. Anyway, I don't want to spend any more time on this tool. The point is that the tool's accessible to you guys now. I'll be doing videos on how to better use it and how it might be handy for your trading. So back to the actual analysis, guys. We have some pretty significant weakness on USD and some pretty significant strength on AUD. You don't really need the tool to tell you that because just by looking at the charts, we can see that things are going crazy. AUD versus USD. So we're looking for longs on here. Yeah, but there are no real long setups that I see. Yeah, there's no long setups that I see right now. I mean, if you wanted to be in long, it would have been yesterday. But there is a resistance area here, but that's broken now. So yeah, there's no long setups that I see on AUDUSD. It is shooting up like crazy. We want to possibly get in long on a break of this resistance area, but it's so far away that it's not even worth mentioning right now. So I'm going to take this one off the list for now. We're going to go to AUDJPY. Now, AUDJPY is a bit closer to its resistance area. So this one I'm still interested in. I want to see what happens when it hits this resistance area. It looks like it's moving up quite a lot right now. So if that continues through that resistance area, we should be able to jump into a nice long breakout. So let's keep a close eye on that for a long trade. Now, conversely, if it completely stalls out for a day or two on top of this resistance area, there's definitely potential to get in on a short. So we just want to see if it continues or if it stalls out on this resistance area. The way things are moving, it looks like it's probably going to continue through it. So I'd be betting on that long, but you never know. I mean, once price hits a significant resistance area, it can easily stall out and turn around. So let's just see what happens at this resistance area. Now, EURJPY, this one is also flying up like crazy. What I want to do with EURJPY is very similar to AUDJPY because we're seeing a lot of, let's just check how this is working. So 5 strength versus 8 strength. And it's on here as one of the big movers, which makes sense. So yeah, EURJPY is something that I'd be looking to go long on. On a break of this resistance area would be good. But again, if it hits this resistance area and then for 2 days it just stalls out and moves sideways, that will indicate that this trend is dying out and that we'd be looking for a short trade. AUDCAD is... There's some messy support resistance areas on this pair. But they seem about right. AUDCAD is actually breaking up. But we have two strong currencies here, so that's indicated by the slow kind of movement that we're seeing. So for the last few weeks, AUDCAD's been moving sideways, and it seems to finally be breaking up through this resistance area. Now, I don't see this as a strong trend at all, because the past few weeks it's just been going, yeah, I don't see this as a strong trend at all. AUD is really strong right now, but as we see, CAD is also kind of strong, so I don't really see this as a big mover. We'll see how that goes, but I'm not going to trade this. EURGBP, nothing much here, guys. And GBPAUD, this one's a bit more interesting. It's making new lows. There's a pretty good chance here of a decent short trade in line with this trend. Now, it was moving sideways last week, but it looks like overall it's a pretty strong trend, and it is making some significant new lows right now. Definitely going to be looking for a short on this, guys. I don't want to enter right now. Probably tomorrow. I'll see how it goes tomorrow. I want to see how this plays out for you today. See if it is able to maintain being below here. But this could give us a pretty nice continuation short. Yeah. Actually, a little bit excited about this one. I'm just going to take a quick look. One sec. Yeah. GBPAUD. You're short? Oh, 22nd of May, short pin bar right from here. Not bad. So yeah, that was the continuation that you traded. I want to do something similar to that, but here. So basically, it'd be nice if it pulls back a little bit, gives us a bit of a pin bar, and continues down. It looks like it's kind of picking up again with momentum, but it's just a bit too early to tell in terms of the momentum and if it's actually going to start being a big mover again, because last week it just moved sideways completely. So yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on it and see what to do there. Yeah, nothing much here. Nothing much here either. New Zealand USD. Now, this one's somewhat interesting. New Zealand definitely has some strength to it right now, and we know that the USD is pretty weak. It has just broken up. This could give us a nice continuation, a long continuation. It's not the best trend overall because it did spend quite some time moving sideways, but overall it is trending up, even if it's not a great trend. So yeah, I'll be looking for a long trade here. Now the ideal entry would be on a dip back down to the support area. So if it closes up here today and then tomorrow dips back down, I'll be looking for an entry. But we'll probably discuss this one in more detail tomorrow because I'm not ready to enter right now for a continuation. And same goes with GBPAUD. So these are just something I'm throwing up on my list, but I probably won't trade them until tomorrow. So we can just discuss them tomorrow. Let's do a quick look through all the other charts. All right, GBP Jpy, this one's quite interesting. It's moving up quite a lot right now, but it is hitting this pretty strong resistance area. So I'll be looking for a short from this resistance area if it stalls out. If it doesn't stall out, then I probably won't be looking for a long because I don't think this is a strong enough trend to trade as a continuation. But if it stalls out here, I'll be looking for a short trade. Now, CAD JPY needs some new support resistance areas, that's for sure. Delete these and start over, but right now there's nothing there. So let's not worry too much about it. AUD New Zealand has started to kind of take off again. All right, so there's potential here for a continuation if price happens to kind of dip back down to the support area. So something like this. Definitely potential for a continuation here, guys. Nah. So EURCAD is actually quite interesting right now. What we're seeing here is a pretty nice range. And it looks like we might be getting a long from the bottom here on the 8 hour. Now, you could also trade this on the 4 hour if you want. You could trade it on the 6 hour, technically speaking, if you really want to. There's loads of options here on where to trade it from. I'm going to probably stick to the 8 hour, but I might be tempted to enter on the 4 hour, to be completely honest. But this one's pretty close to happening. If you were to trade it on the 8 hour, you need to wait for this 8 hour candle close, which is going to be in 3.5 hours. If you wanted to trade it on the 4 hour, you could be getting in really soon on this one. Now, I wouldn't enter right now. I know technically speaking, this is the indecision candle, so you want to enter on a break of the indecision candle, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's way, way, way too early to enter right now. What I would do would be enter... probably on a break of this candle here. Something like that. Yeah, I would do something like this on the 4 hour. That's a pretty good return on this trade, 2.7. You have a nice wide stop, so nice wide entry. So at that point, you're pretty sure that price is going to continue up. So yeah, this looks quite good. This one's very close to happening. I'm going to keep a close eye on that. No, I'm not going to do anything here. EURUSD is moving up really nicely right now. But I don't really see much of a trade opportunity here, to be completely honest. GBPUSD moving up nicely. Let's see what happens when it hits this resistance area. It's very close to it. Definitely potential for a short trade. Very similar to GBP JPY. New Zealand JPY moving up nicely. It's hitting a resistance area right now. Given how weak JPY is, I would assume that this is probably going to continue to move up unless we see some return to strength of the Japanese yen. So if we do see some strength in the Japanese yen, then that would be a pretty decent case for a reversal from this resistance area. It's not a great resistance area though, so yeah, I'm not too bothered with this. I'll keep an eye on it for a potential short, but it's probably not going to happen. Finally, we got USDCHF. Did we do USDCAD? No, we did not. USDCAD is moving down very, very nicely. We got a pretty big move from that yesterday, and it just started barreling down from there. So I'm quite excited about this movement that we're seeing in USDCAD. Canadian dollar is quite strong right now. US dollar is quite weak right now. So that's leading to this massive, massive move. Now, this looks like it has a lot of potential to continue down. So we need to get a nice support area here that makes sense. And this one certainly makes sense. I'll be looking to take a short here on USD CAD in line with this bearish trend. If it breaks through here, I'll be looking for a slight pullback and a continuation. Pretty excited about that one. So let's see how that one goes. And finally, we got USDCHF, which seems to be equalizing right now. Yeah. Yeah, nothing much here, guys. It seems to be equalizing right now. So, you know, we could get a reversal from this support area, but I'm just not that interested in this trade, given how messy it is to the right here. But that being said, you know, if you really want to trade it, it does fit within the rules of the strategy to trade a reversal from this support area. So you could trade a reversal from the support area. I would just be cautious because when you look to the left here, it's just so messy. I wouldn't really bet on this having a nice move right up like it did these last two times. I think that this time it would definitely be a rocky ride up. It does look like overall it's starting to kind of slope downwards. So I think once it gets up here, it's just going to struggle to get further up. So you could enter a long trade here. Perhaps on the smaller time frames, you could make it work. but I'm just not that convinced, so I'll probably stay out of this. But I'm going to post it up here for you guys anyway, in case any of you guys are willing to take the risk. So just a quick summary, EURJPY, it's trending very strongly. What I want to do is trade a break of this resistance area, but obviously if it stalls out completely for the next 2 days, there's potential for a reversal, but we'll come to that depending on what happens. GBPAUD trending down very nicely, definitely potential for a short here, similar to the short from here, which I'm not sure what your first name. It's Andrew. I'm just gonna guess Andrew, or Anthony. Andrew. I'm gonna go with Andrew, which Andrew is in. So we're looking for a similar setup just from this resistance area. So something like that would be great. New Zealand USD. I'm kind of like tempted to enter this already, but it's just, it would be a bit silly. It'd be definitely silly to enter a breakout without a nicer pullback. So yeah, looking for a pullback on this one for a long trade. GBP Jpy, just looking for price to stall out of this resistance area. If it breaks through, I won't be trading long here. I just don't really feel that this trend is strong enough to jump in long. AUD New Zealand breaking through resistance, so definitely potential for a pullback continuation here. Now EURCAD is the interesting one, which is unlike the rest of these. EURCAD is likely to give us a trade a lot sooner. So EURCAD, I'll be looking for a long trade here on the 8 hour. I just want this current 8 hour candle to close. Did we do GBPUSD? Just very similar to GBPJPY, just waiting for price to hit this resistance area for potential short. New Zealand JPY trending very nicely, waiting for a break of this resistance area for a potential long continuation. USDCAD moving very nicely downwards, looking for a break of this support area for a continuation short. And finally, USDCHF, decent reversal setup. I just don't trust this one that much. It's kind of similar-ish to the EURCAD one, except over a larger time frame. It's similar, but whereas EURCAD has been moving smoothly through this area the last week, USDCHF has the opposite, where it's not been moving smoothly. So that's why I'm interested in EURCAD, whereas USDCHF I'm just not that interested in. So yeah, guys, that wraps it up for the analysis. I know this analysis today was a bit all over the place with showing you guys the new tool and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully it was useful to you guys. I'll be doing another analysis session 10 a.m. tomorrow. So I'll see you guys for tomorrow's analysis unless there's any questions. Are there any questions right now? Otherwise, I'll wrap this one up, guys. I don't really pay that much attention to gap fills. I don't really pay that much attention to gaps in general. Gaps are just, it just doesn't really make sense to me. I've been on the trading floor of a bank twice, and one thing I noticed about bank traders is that they don't have gaps on their charts because their data feeds run throughout the weekend. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same everywhere or if it was just the trading floors I was on. It might just be the trading floors I was on. I got no idea, really. But if it is the same everywhere, then bank traders don't even really see gaps. They just see a weekend with more movement than your average weekend. So I really don't put much stock in gaps. It's just my opinion, though. I mean, you guys do what you think is best in terms of trading gaps. It's just I've never really cared much for them. It looks like that was the only question, so I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. Thank you very much for attending. I'll see you for tomorrow's analysis, which will be a bit more structured. We completely forgot to check the news. I definitely need more structure to the analysis. We'll just do a quick rundown of the news, see what's happening. Of course, we have the G7 meetings today, which I completely forgot to mention, and I'm sorry about that. So we just need to be careful about this, guys. G7 meetings always have potential to move things. It's probably mostly going to be about Corona and the economy, so it could be impactful. But I'm not going to just skip trading all of today because of this. So, oh, sorry, no, I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at it way wrong. That's tomorrow, the G7 meetings. Oh, God, I did this from the start of the week. I was looking at the thing wrong. I feel kind of stupid. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. G7 meetings tomorrow, so watch out tomorrow. There's actually nothing today. I need my own calendar. Remember how I showed you guys the calendar on the dashboard? I don't know why my brain does this, but whenever I look at the Forex factory calendar and there's very few reports on the first few days, I just kind of like get mixed up, and I start looking at Wednesday or Thursday as if it's Tuesday, blah blah blah. I'm gonna make an awesome calendar that's gonna go right here, or probably actually gonna span across the whole page because it needs to be a bit bigger than that, and that calendar will be a lot cleaner and easier to read than this calendar. So yeah, G7 meetings tomorrow, not too bothered with them. I'm just mostly going to ignore them, to be completely honest, guys. And it is, of course, NFP week. That's another thing to be wary of. But other than that, guys, there's just nothing much happening today. Tomorrow is a bit more busy, so we'll discuss tomorrow. So yeah, thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you for tomorrow's analysis. Thanks and bye.